The same Oreo sold in America contains ingredients that are completely illegal in Europe. Same brand, same company, different recipe. Because European regulators looked at those ingredients and said, too dangerous. Not in our food. American regulators looked at the same evidence and said, fine, this is not a conspiracy. This is written into the law, and it is happening inside product your family ate for breakfast this morning. Here is the regulatory crack that everything falls through. American food law contains a classification called GRA, generally recognized as safe. Created in 1958 for simple, well-established ingredients like salt and vinegar. Reasonable in theory, catastrophic in practice. Because today, food manufacturers can classify their own new ingredients as GRA without ever notifying the FDA, without submitting independent safety data, without a single government scientist reviewing the evidence. The company decides. The ingredient goes in. It reaches hundreds of millions of products before any regulator sees a single study. That is not consumer protection. That is an honor system with trillion-dollar financial incentives pointed in one direction. Now pay attention, because the specific ingredients tell a story that is very difficult to forget once you hear it. Red dye number 3, found in maraschino cherries, certain fruit juices, and candy marketed directly to children. The FDA banned this exact dye from cosmetics in 1990 because animal studies showed it caused cancer. That same dye remained legal in American food for 34 more years. Europe banned it from food entirely. The FDA only finalized its removal from food in January 2024, and manufacturers have until 2027 to comply. It is still in products on shelves today. Banned from lipstick in 1990. Still legal in children's candy in 2025. The same regulatory agency. The same compound. 34 years apart. Titanium dioxide, a white coloring agent in chewing gum, candy, and frosting. Used purely to make food look more visually appealing. The European Food Safety Authority reviewed the latest research in 2021 and concluded it could no longer be considered safe, specifically citing its potential to damage DNA. Europe banned it from food immediately. It remains fully legal in the United States today. Potassium bromate, added to commercial bread to make dough rise higher and achieve a more appealing texture. Classified as a possible carcinogen by the International Agency for Research on Cancer. Banned in the EU, UK, Canada, Brazil, and China. Still permitted in American bread in 2026. But this is where it gets deeper than a list of banned chemicals. Here is the biological mechanism that makes ultra-processed food a systemic problem, not just an ingredient problem. Your gut contains approximately 38 trillion microorganisms. Bacteria, fungi, and microbes that regulate your immunity, your metabolism, your mood, and your inflammatory response. Think of this ecosystem like a carefully balanced rainforest, built over hundreds of thousands of years of coevolution with the human body. It needs diversity. It needs fiber. It needs recognizable food. Artificial emulsifiers, like polysorbate 80, found in ice cream and salad dressings, have been shown in research to erode the mucus layer lining your intestines. That mucus layer is your gut's first line of defense. It keeps bacteria contained. When emulsifiers thin that barrier, bacteria cross in a tissue they should never reach. Your immune system detects the intrusion and fires. That response, chronic, low-grade, never fully resolved, is now linked by researchers to obesity, metabolic syndrome, inflammatory bowel disease, and depression. Artificial sweeteners complete the picture. Aspartame and sucralose were introduced as the solution to sugar. 0 calories, all the sweetness. But research over the past decade shows they disrupt gut bacteria in ways that paradoxically impair blood sugar regulation, the very problem they were designed to solve. You left sugar to protect your metabolism. The replacement may have quietly damaged it anyway. Here is the number that reframes everything. The United States spends more on healthcare per person than any other developed nation. It also carries higher rates of obesity, type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and certain cancers than most European counterparts. Researchers studying that gap increasingly identify ultra-processed food consumption and ingredient regulation as one of the most significant and under-examined variables in the divergence. American children consume more artificial dyes, emulsifiers, and synthetic additives than children almost anywhere else in the developed world. And they carry higher rates of childhood obesity, ADHD diagnoses, and food allergies than children in countries that banned those same ingredients a decade ago. The pattern is consistent enough and the mechanistic research specific enough that dismissing the connection requires deliberate effort. So what do you actually do? Read ingredient lists, not nutrition labels. Ingredients are listed by quantity. The first 3 tell you what the product actually is. If you cannot identify something without a chemistry degree, that is information worth acting on. Avoid the synthetic dyes, specifically red 40, yellow 5, yellow 6. Petroleum derived. 0 nutritional value. Banned or warning labeled across Europe. Entirely avoidable. And remember this single fact the next time you stand in a grocery aisle. The European version of your favorite brand exists because a government demanded a safer formula. The American version exists because nobody did. You can demand it yourself, one purchase at a time. So here's the question worth sitting with. If the same company sells a cleaner product in another country because that country required it, what does it say about the system that never required it for you? The label has not changed, but your understanding of it just did.